values, we will change your nervous system. We will change your experience. Now, changing values is not a 2-hour experience. It's really a 6-day experience. I'm not selling you, that's what I do a daily lesson. And I hope many of you will come, many of you won't. If you don't go, at least figure out what your values are. And you can do it if you pick up one of my early books called Waken the Giant Within.
Alright, so we are going to talk about day 3. Today is day 4, so today's the last day. So, what I've been doing, obviously, is going through the day, and then the next day, talk about what happened the day before. So this is day 3. Yesterday was a great day. As you can hear, I don't have a voice. My voice is pretty much done. I'm pretty much sure that since today's day 4, after today, I won't have a voice. But I've been drinking tea, just everything so I could keep a voice, because I've been meeting so many great people. That's another thing about this event. The amount of people that you meet, it's crazy. There's over 13,000, 15,000 people like that. And it felt like family. The way people treated each other, the way people helped each other, everything. So for me, talk about the takeaways from yesterday, because now when you come into day 3, so day 1 was the firewalk. That set the tone, that set the bar. So typically, from what people have told me, the firewalk is normally the last thing, like after everything. You finally walk across the fire, right? Tony switched it up. Firewalk first day, everyone went crazy. Some people had a smooth sailing, like myself, walked across that fire, no blisters, no nothing, good money, just worked out. So it just reminded me of how strong my mental is in reference to mind over matter, that whole concept, right? And then they had a bunch of people that little bit of blisters, and it kind of went all the way up to the people who just ran across the fire when he said not to do it. But a lot came from that. Then the second day now, Tony wasn't there. Tony has to take off a day because of his voice. He goes 13 hours strong. I mean, if you've never been to a Tony Robbins conference or heard him speak, you don't realize that he's doing this the entire time. Nobody else is training. Nobody else is talking. It is all him. He is energy from the beginning, and then by the time you get to the end, the 13th hour, 12th hour, whatever, his energy level is still higher than what it was when he first started. Like, he maintains an energy level I've never seen, and it just let me know that at his age, at 56 or 57, I think 56 or 57, for him to have that energy and me almost half his age, there's no reason why my energy level can't be maintained at that peak state for even longer periods of time. So anyway, like I said, the second day now, he is not there. He is actually taking off, and then he has the other individuals run the event who been doing it with him for years. Awesome training, and I spoke about that already. So then you kind of mentally get ready for the third day now when Tony's back. So you got the whole day with Tony again, and this is now where they're breaking things down. So this the emotional transition, breaking those old habits, really understanding that the habits you have now, the way of thinking, the things you've been doing, literally from your sexual preferences to your job, to your belief system, to everything. He basically put it out there, and he did it in a way where you looked at yourself and you have to remind yourself that you're the reason you're there. No one else is there. His main thing was making sure you realize that the BS that you tell yourself is the reason why you don't move forward. So he basically had everyone say their number 1, number 2, and number 3 BS, meaning the things you say to yourself to say it's okay for you not to move to a certain level, the conversations you have with yourself or you tell people as the reason why. So a lot of it is things like, oh, it's because of my family that I'm not able to be successful. Oh, it's because of my neighborhood that I don't have money. Oh, it's because of my education that I don't have the opportunities that are available. So these are all the things we say to ourselves until we start to live in those. And that's just the idea of the things we tackled, the things we attacked. And then he had us project out years and years of living that way, and really understanding that living that way is not just hurting us, is hurting all the people around us. So if you have children, think about what you're passing down to your kids and how you've really hurt those kids. Think about family members that you've lost, friends that you're no longer connected to because of your beliefs, because of things. I think 5 years later, 10 years, you've been all the way down, and then he asked you to learn how to internalize those feelings so you can feel what it feels like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, carrying that weight. And then obviously, the goal was to throw it out emotionally, to let it go and realize that you have to set a new layer of a new foundation. And then we spoke about all the things that you're gonna say now, the things that you're going to really go after now. And the key is he has a strategy for how to move people to action. And that's the biggest thing that I saw. So a lot of my biggest takeaways were areas of my life that I had those BS conversations with, that I was saying, yeah, it's because of this, and yeah, well, it's because of this, and I let it go. And those excuses have hindered the growth of where I wanted to go, because it allows you to stay in a state of it's okay, it's not that bad, things are not really, gonna do such and such, and you just let it go. For me, it really helped me just realign a couple things. So like all my business ventures, I'm able to look at them a lot differently now, because one of the things he spoke about yesterday was how to grow business, how to really take your business to the next level. And one of the main things, he gave 3 things. I'll tell you guys those things now. Should I tell you guys, or should you go to the event? Let me tell you at least, I'll tell you one. The first thing he said is anything that you're going to map out, you're going to go for it now, because now you have to set this new layer of belief, right? The first thing he says is you've got to get out there and you've got to find someone who's actually more than good at the area you're looking to generate your income in or grow in. Meaning they need to be outstanding. They need to be great at what it is, okay? So you want to model that person. So the first step he said in moving forward is, like I set out a goal, personal goal to make $100 million. And the reason why I set that goal was I realized that it's a bigger goal than I've ever set for myself. And I've pretty much hit all the goals I've ever set out to hit for in life. But a lot of the goals I set weren't as aggressive as they could have been as I got older. And that was the biggest difference. So what he makes you do is he says find someone who actually is outstanding at it, and then copy them, model them. So as an example, now one of the things I'm doing right away is I'm researching all the people on earth who make over $100 million a year, or have over $100 million. Now, I'm not talking about people who have in assets or worth, because I could say I'm worth $30 million based on blank, 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 blank. But that's not liquid, meaning that money is not something I can tap into and say, okay, I can use that money for such, such, and such, and such. I want to be in a position where I have access to 100 million. And I'm really going to break that down and detail that out even more. Obviously, today being the last day, that's one of the things that we're going to be going over. But setting that goal, and now I'm looking for all the people who did it. And now what I'm going to do is see which one of those people who've made that type of money is closest to me. So I'm going to try to relate myself with the activities, with the lifestyle, with the way of thinking, something that I can say, that's the guy or that's the woman that I'm going to now start to model the next set of years behind. Because the people who I've modeled myself behind today have actually gotten me to where I am now, from the exotic cars to my wife, to my beautiful daughter, to where we live, how we go about money, how we save, how we spend. See, all those things have actually been modeled behind other people. And I'm blessed to say that, thank God, those people were successful. And I've been able to then mold my own vision of what I want for myself. So now I'm not chasing anyone anymore. I'm actually just working on becoming a better person. Like the perfect version of me is now what I'm chasing. And the perfect version of me today is a guy who has that type of money available, because I think about the number of people I can impact. I think about the number of people I can actually sit down with and help generate that type of money if they need to make the money. The number of people I can contribute to different programs, different areas that are personal to me, that can help move children forward, and people who don't have access to certain things, and get them education, even put together programs to help pay for people to go to conferences like this, because they would have never been able to go to something like this because of the conversations they've had in their head, and obviously them looking at their current income situation, choosing between paying rent, paying bills, or spending, $2,000-$3,000 to come to a conference like this. So the idea of it is finding someone, modeling yourself after that person. And then the next one is learning to immerse yourself in the process. Now that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to go into that. But then there's the third part. And the reason I'm not going to give you the third part is that if you're looking at this and you really want to know the third part, you'll go to this conference. I definitely believe, I wouldn't tell you have to go to this, but if you want to know that answer, you're going to have to go to that event to get it. It's definitely more than worth it. So yesterday for me, that was a big thing because, every day I was putting the pieces together. So I would call my wife, I would tell her what I learned and where my brain was, and I said, okay, so we need to do this now. Then I started realizing something was missing. I didn't know what it was. Boom, and then right on cue, Tony says, hey, rearrange your belief system, but to do that we got to copy someone. Now he gave examples of him getting coaching, and based on your are financially, like I would probably get a coach that's in that area, or join a program with that the individual might be offering, that I can say, okay, I'm going to try to now learn and immerse myself into the things that this individual has done, or the principles they have used to get them to a certain part. And that's where the next phase is for me. So for me, biggest takeaways from yesterday was getting those 3 things in place on how I'm going to move to that number. Second thing was not obviously, but really working on my personal spiritual relationship. We all have a belief system, so on and so forth, and I had a conversation I keep having with myself that was BS at the end of the day. And the people who are hurt the most, when you start thinking about it, you're really hurting them long term as well. So I said, you know what, I got to make an adjustment there, and those are the things that jumped out. My spiritual relationship getting even better, getting more enrooted in what I believe in spiritually to help me move to that next plateau. Finding someone to model after, knowing exactly what I want now, and continue to look. Now I've always used that principle, but it's always good to see it in another way. It's packaged differently, and it's the same thing, but it's like, almost forgot about that. That's how important that was. And then for me, I would say finally, is how you treat people. One of the biggest things that I've learned is, what are you offering people? I always go out to give value to individuals. Even in my relationships with people, when I meet people, I try to offer them something. It's never, I just want to come there and take something. I always try to be a value, an asset to that relationship. And yesterday, that was big for me because it reminded me that all the work I'm doing and everything is truly based on helping people. Like, I love seeing people transition to having the life they want, because I'm so happy with the life I've been blessed to have, and now working to make it even better. And that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants that. But for those that do want it, the steps and tips that we got from yesterday were big. Now, granted, there's so much more, and I'll go into a little more detail with it later on. But I just want to give you guys a quick recap of day 3 now. Day 4, what I'm actually going to do today is, after I get to the event, when the event is actually over, I'm probably going to give you guys an update right after. Like, it's over, it's finalized. I'm not going to wait till the next day. I'm just going to knock this video out for you so I can get this to you. So 3 days down, voice is pretty much gone, but I know it's time to work. I mean, I've been working before, but it's time to really raise the bar now. So much things happened that I can't even explain in this video, but I will explain over the course of time to help those that are trying to get to that next phase. So on that note, off to the final day, man. Day 4, final day. It's been an awesome ride, but it's not over yet. So I'm out. I'll see you guys later. All right. Deuces.